So guys, it's not gonna be the usual tutorial in a way, like it's not a traditional one. You may refer this video as the how to use the feature tutorial. So I'm gonna share this piece of art as the limited time offer, completely free, on my Patreon. Obviously, after some period, it's gonna be available via the subscription. But I guess I should start making some of my features from time to time, so they gonna be like completely free. We'll see. So I'm gonna explain you the idea behind this feature. From the title, you may understand that it's the vendor. So it's like the shop, so you can interact with an NPC, and you'll see the goods that he's selling to you, and you can actually acquire them. So why I did this or that thing? So you can like get the whole project, then with my explanations in this video, you can reverse engineer and change some things, or leave it as is, or just scrap it from the whole project and like transfer or implement in your game. So that's the purpose of this kind of tutorial. Hopefully it won't take long, but we'll see. So first we're gonna start with the basics and NPC, right? So we have the parent class called NPC base, and as you can see, it derived from the character. And what it does, it stands for like basic NPC who can talk to your character, to the player, maybe perform some actions via the state tree, and in case of a vendor, it's also the like an NPC, right? It's not, all kind of NPC might be static or dynamic, it doesn't matter. So NPC vendor base, I have one on my level, this guy. You may see it right here. He has some different things, so it can be friendly, neutral, or hostile, depend on the context. This logic I haven't implemented yet, but it's on the list. So he's gonna say some sort of thing, and after his words, after his replic or reply, I'm sorry, it will show up the layout of goods that he has to sell to you. So it has the actual as the main parent class interaction component. Basically, it's a simple actor component that has the interface in a lot of different stuff, like interactable base class for my props, for the weapons, for the consumables, and so on. And this interface, BPI interaction, right up here, it has two different actions, and each action then make a call to the dispatcher, so perform action. And I have implementation, or like I have a subscription. As for the NPC base, here you may see I have a custom event called perform action, sorry. And as you can see on the event begin play, as I have a reference, like the direct one, as this component is inside this character, this asset, we have a bind to the onPerform action, and it means that once the interaction component triggers the perform action event, my NPC gonna listen to it and perform its custom logic. By default, the way that I designed the whole feature, my NPC depend on the context, gonna say some lines of the text, and then you may do anything you want. So the NPC base gonna tell something with the help of the storytelling component, which I store in the player controller, this guy, and it's just sort of a widget that appears on the screen with the lines of text. Let me show you. So this guy, I'm gonna walk towards to him. I have interacted with him, so you can see here we have the line of the text, the one, the second one, and the third one. Right after this, the whole thing gonna be ended in this part of logic, and then NPC vendor base. As you can see, we have, like, as this one is a child, I have so-called parent call to the main functions. So it means that first one gonna be executed the begin play of our parent class NPC base. After this, we're gonna do stuff that we implemented inside our vendor base class, like set up data base for our like patterns of items that we're gonna be selling. We create widget and do different stuff. Like here we have another type of subscription, and it tells us, so when the store is finished, so this guy, when we gonna close the last line, we're gonna execute function called show goods, and this show goods will add the widget of vendor shop layout with all the goods that we want to buy or sell, just like this. So here on the right you may see it's our shop, and here on the left is the player's inventory with the amount of money that he has in his kind of wallet. So we have some tooltips for an items. This is kind of core feature with no extra logic, so the price tag is not visible here, because I just thinking about the better way to implement it on my widget. So you may add it on your own, but if I press the E key and I like keep holding it for the proper period of time, which is adjustable through the widget or data table, I don't really remember, as I did this feature kinda like a while ago. So if I keep holding it, you may see I've acquired 1, 2, and 3 bottles of whiskey, and you may see that the tint of the widget changed to the red. It means that as for this item, I cannot hold more than 3 bottles of whiskey. I can acquire a gun, but as this one is my inventory, and this inventory is kinda from the, like, I was impressed. I'm a big fan of the Destiny game, so I've been impressed of their UI, and I decided to, like, I have the inventory that I can keep it like this, and the layout for my, like, armor, weapons, and so on, it's gonna be on the another type of, like, another page. So it's not visible here, but if I press I key, you may see that I have equipment, and here that's I've acquired 2 pistols, 2 guns, and here we have inventory with, like, our bottles. So it's all under the construction, and I'm gonna update this project hopefully more frequently that I do it right now. So you may see a lot of changes with the time, but as I said, you may implement them on your own, as you already have all core stuff happening here. So yep, so where was I? We have another subscription in the vendor base to show the goods. So NPC base implementation of the interaction component assigned to our asset that has implementation of the interface with two basic functions: perform action and stop interaction. And each item has its own logic based on these actions. As I said, we have subscriptions like those two, which execute one type of logic, which has the more stuff happening in our child. So what else? So our NPC vendor base, on the begin play we need to make the list of goods that we're gonna be selling. So that's we have the function called setup db. Item db, you may not see it here, but I'm just gonna show you. I have the data table of items that is built upon different structures, like the item, equipment details. It's up to you to look through all of them and understand what each variable here is stands for. So interesting here is that we have max per stack. It means the amount of item that we can hold in our inventory. So as I said, for the whiskey, let's say we have 3 of them. For the donut we have 5, and where we have 1, it's gonna be 1 per each item. So yeah, we can have a lot of different weapons, but those kind of, let's call them consumables, we cannot hold more than the specific number of them in our inventory. It's a design that I was influenced by the Destiny, right? So I find it kind of good. Okay. And here we have the price tag for each element. We can also see that we have 3 different booleans. So this item can be achieved only if it's the reward. So it's the build up for the quest system as the rewards for the quests. But for, let's say, this item, it's the pistol, it can be dropped in the world, or it can be sold by the NPC. So yep. So here we need to get data from the data table, and the data table is set to be, I cannot, like this. So you may see that the reference is to the data table that we have on our disk items. Then we should iterate over the whole package of the names, so we can construct the item. It's the non-physical representation of the asset, basically with some variables and stuff and function that we're gonna be using for our equipment, for our widgets, and so on. So based on if we're gonna sell it, I construct the item object, and I'm gonna show you what it is. So basically it's the UObject class, and as I said, it has a lot of different stuff happening here, like how many items of this particular item we are holding. It's the I used this class for my previous implementation of the inventory that I used to work with like a year or 2 years ago. I used to make it as the Diablo or the Path of Exile style, like it's the special inventory where you can store items inside other items. So I just wanted to leave it as is and added some extra functionality just in case if I want to switch them just for this purpose. So we also have something that we use in this implementation, functions called add item to stack, remove item from stack, so we're like decreasing and increasing items that we are picking up and storing. We also have what we also use here. I guess that's it, so that's not like only for, let's call it stackable items. But nevertheless, we construct this object and we store this reference to the item list. It's the array of items that we like this NPC is holding. So we have the setup, then we build our widget, which is called vendor layout, and as you can see on spawn we have the exposed variable called item list. It's the reference to the item list that we created right a second ago. So this widget looks like this, and as you can see it has the reference to the base inventory widget. Actually I have a lot of different tutorials that I used for this project and on my YouTube, and you can search for them, and if you don't understand something you can follow them up and see why I did things the way they made it. Actually, let me show you what the inventory looks like. So not much, you understand, because like we have the overlay and it says it should be sized to the content. As I build my inventory dynamically, and it's also going to be based on the character arc in the story, like the evolution. So we have no items available in our inventory, so no spot for storing items. Then we progress through the story and we can change them based maybe on the outfit that we are wearing just for this purpose. So it's better to have something dynamically built, so we can change two numbers like in the row and in the column, and not just have everything hard-coded. So for this we have the uniform grid panel right up here, and we also have the currency. So it's built inside the overlay, so this item has its own anchors, and those elements have different paddings, as you may see right up here. So they won't be overlapping and intersecting each other if my the size of the widget if it's changed. So, and the vendor layout has the reference to this widget. So once the vendor layout shows up, it's also gonna show up our characters, our players inventory that he has, so we can see what, like why we can buy something, how much money our player has, and so on. And it also has sort of same kind of logic. So we build up its like the layout of goods that he has on his hand, also dynamically. So here you may see that we have the vendor reference. It's our NPC reference. You may see that it's editable and exposed on spawn, so each vendor knows, like each widget here knows who it belongs to, what items our NPC is selling, and so on. So we create the widget, we bind it to show the goods only when the story is told by our NPC. You may like change it and have the direct call like this, so it will show up immediately in the widget without like doing any stuff, without saying anything. Should be self. Yeah, like this. Sorry guys, sometimes you forgot things, or sometimes you are just not as concentrated as you wanted to be. So yeah, we also have the reference to our equipment component, and this component stands for doing a lot of stuff, like once I try to pick something up, or if I want to acquire something through the shop, I need to be aware if I have enough money. So I have like the update currency stuff, right? This element also stores my current money, the maximum amount that I can store, and what else? I have a function that I execute all the time, which tell me if I store item to my inventory or to my equipment widget, or if I'm gonna be picking it up and equipping, or I'm gonna storing it to the place where I store my consumables. Let me show how the interactable base works. So it's the parent class for all items that we have here on the scene, like those donuts, those bottles, and so on, like the weapon stuff, because they are all derived from this base interactable class. And on perform action, as you can see, it doesn't have anything because as I said, it's the base class. And for consumables and containers like bags and so on, we have like more child classes, like container base. So when perform action, I get the reference to the equipment component that I have here, this one, right? And I have an item, and once I press my left mouse button, I have a reference to this element, and I try to pick and equip it, and based on the return value, it's gonna be rather placed inside my equipment widget, like the weapon and outfit that I don't have implementation, or it's gonna be stored as the consumable. So let me show you with the some debug functionality. I try to pick up the weapon. We have this function triggered, then we go like this, and based on the slot state, it's called empty. And empty means that we're gonna equip it. We're gonna place it like this and store it to the widget that we have here, this equipment. Yep, and we don't have anything in inventory. But once I try to like pick up a bottle, you do the same stuff, this, but it says leftover. It's also from my previous implementation of the Diablo inventory. So it's gonna be stored and it's gonna be executed and placed not right here, but here in the inventory widget, just like this. So let me remove the debug preview and we go back to the vendor base. So show goods, the instigator here is the reference to our NPC base class, and we need to be sure that the NPC we are working with is the one that we are like clicking on, because all of them have like they share the logic with their state tree. So that's why we need to be sure that the one that we clicked gonna call function to show the vendor layout, because otherwise all of them, as they all share this kind of stuff, gonna be showing up the widget, and instead of one widget we're gonna have 3 of them on our screen. It's gonna be buggy and so on. So we also have the hide goods, which like once we click on the free space on our screen, gonna be let me show you some blah blah blah. Once we have those elements, and here we're gonna be clicking on the free space without like the space that doesn't contain any UI stuff, the widget gonna be closed. So this function will be called. Sell goods, the function that, as you can see here, like we're gonna call it from our vendor layout, or vendor layout, or maybe from our item sell widget, because each widget inside the vendor layout has its own like animation stuff, and based on the click on this widget, yep, we're gonna call the sell goods function. As you can see, it executed the try pick and equip function from the equipping component, and based on the result we're gonna subtract amounts of money that this item has inside its the data table. We're gonna update the currency, and we're gonna update the vendor UI. This function gonna be rebuilding the whole graph, because we need to refresh items that we have in our inventory and in our vendors inventory. So now let's move on and see the vendor layout. Right, so it has some stuff. Init vendor UI. So here we're building up the vendors layout, how much space it has, but it should not be constrained to like the specific elements, because it can grow, it can expand, and I don't think that you need like to think way too much about how it looks. It may have more free space, and having those extra elements here, as for me, it doesn't seem wrong. So I'm okay with the way how it looks. So for each element that we have here, we're gonna create the item to sell widget, which look like this. We have the icon, we have the like I also use I thought of maybe using how many items this vendor has in its layout, but I just finish up by changing the visibility of this element, so it's hidden, as I don't feel right for NPC to have the limited amount of items. So it's like the design based like the mixture of the Destiny and the Diablo. It's the way that I see it. It can be changed, you can change it yourself, it's up to you. So it has lots of different stuff also happening here, like the tooltip and so on. And the main here is to have the reference to the vendor. So expose and spawn should be selected, and we do this. And once we have the vendor reference right up here, we have the reference to all the item list that this vendor is selling. And then we add child to the uniform grid based on those indexes that we get from our loop functions. So init vendor UI is done on the construction. Also, it's stuff for my implementation that I need to disable input for my character, so I cannot do anything once this widget is on the screen. I cannot move, I cannot shoot, and so on. And once this widget is destructed, I need to restore all the functionality, also clear the children from the slot, because I don't need to have the cached version of them, because they're gonna be like incrementing. Now to the item to sell widget. Oh, no. I also have the on mouse button down here. So based on the, on my action, and for me it's the left mouse button, I check whether I'm hovering over the background widget. It's this guy, and it should be visible, because if it's not visible, the click simply won't be executed, and you won't have this function called. So if I press and I'm hovering over the background, I need to hide the goods. So it's the way to close the shop. Item to sell. Have a lot of stuff here. Here on the init vendor UI, blah 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 blah. Once the whole loop is completed, I'm gonna use update vendor UI. This function, so it's gonna be iterating over the all item to sell widgets, and it's gonna be calling init item UI function inside the item to sell widget. Buy goods. On mouse button up and down, let me check what they do. Oh, if it's the left mouse button, oh, I actually turn everything off, because it was my first implementation. But as you can see, I switch it off, and now I'm listening to the, where it is, on mouse enter I have the set focus on my keyboard, and I start pressing the key. Yep, and where I do it, on key up and on key down. Yep, those two functions. So those are functions that we need to override here. And once key down, I check whether this key is the E key. If it's so, and I don't have the keyhole, like if it's not been holding recently, I need to set it to be hold. And if it's key up, I just return the value to be false. Why do I do this? So I have like this one key hold is not a simple boolean, but with the rep notify, and it means that each time I change the value, the function called on rep behold gonna do the following stuff. If it's true, it's gonna be executed with the help of a timer function called buy goods, this one, and here I accumulating the time, like how long I have been pressing the key, like the period, and if this period is high enough or equal the key hold required time, Then I need to also check whether the item is available to be bought, right? And if it's so, then I do once, because this one is called like it's the check for my keyhole thing. So I do once, I need to buy a good. So if the item is valid, I call sell goods from the vendor reference. This one, this function. And then I update my action bar. Action bar is an element inside my equipment slot tooltip. So it's this part. I cannot show it. It's the bottom. It's on the bottom of the tooltip. Let me just show it once I try to buy something. So it's this progress bar like this. If my key is being held, it's gonna update the status. I guess I should talk a bit about my tooltips. But yep, basically this is the main logic for like the vendor and how I'm gonna sell items to myself. As for the tooltip, you may see that on the init item UI. Here I have calls for two my custom functions: init tooltip, remove tooltip. So here they are. We create the widget. We store it as the custom tooltip reference, and we set tooltip. It's the basic function for an element. And remove tooltip basically based whether the tooltip is available, if it's valid. So we create it here. We need to remove it from parent and sell tooltip to be null. So it's gonna clear it up and we won't have any cached version and so on. As for this tooltip, it looks like this. I won't be explaining much of its build-up logic. You may see it on your own. I do use a lot of different rich texts, so it's like the base. It uses data table where I have tags for each type of fonts, and each font has its own size, spacing, outline, color, and so on. It's kind of good to have all stored in one place, and you don't need to make a lot of different changes like in hundreds of the widgets. So I built everything up. So once this widget is constructed, it should update the action bar to be 0, so it won't be changed and it should not be visible. This part I can omit it as it's not important for this tutorial, but we have like update action bar. This function is simply sets the value, like the percentage value for the progress bar that we have, based on whether we are holding up the E key inside this widget or not. So you may see it right up here. Here, if we are trying to buy something, we update this, but if we are like already bought an item, here we just restore everything to the 0. Yep, hopefully it was useful for you, and if you have questions you can write me down, and obviously if I have time I can answer to you. So yep, I know this, it's supposed to be shorter than it ended up, but still the features are coming out, the game is in progress, and I'm gonna do a lot of different stuff near future. So as always, please subscribe to my channel, leave your feedback, press like button, share with your friends. In case if you want to support me monetarily, you can follow up the link under this video and buy a subscription, and see you soon, guys.